Today, we're exploring a topic that touches every part of our heart and our lives. The connection between self-worth and the relationships we choose. Hello, my darling. I'm Vanessa, and welcome to Feminine Spaces. Here, women 40 plus reclaim their feminine power through relationship wisdom, self-mastery, and conscious living. You belong here. Let's dive in. Have you ever looked at a relationship and asked yourself, why did I choose him? Why did I stay? Why did I accept less than what I truly needed? So often, the answer isn't about the other person. It's about the mirror of our own self-worth and that time in our specific lives. Because there's always an evolution. The more that you build up your self-worth and self-esteem, the more you change the choices. So when we value ourselves deeply, our relationships reflect that value. When our self-worth is wounded, we often consciously invite relationships that echo that same wound to us. Today, because we're open, I want to take you on a journey through the psychology, the spirituality, and the practical wisdom that connects self-worth to relationship choices. And by the end, my hope is that you'll see yourself through fresh eyes, empowered to choose love, intimacy, and companionship from a place of wholeness, not of lack. So if this sounds like something you want to learn and master, stay with me, because I know this. You want to know more about the psychology of self-worth. So let's begin with the psychology, okay? Self-worth is more than self-esteem. Self-esteem is often based on what we do, what we achieve. It's the outcome of the external. It's very performance-based. Because if I act like this, then maybe you like me. If I do this, perhaps you want to spend more time with me. Self-worth, on the other hand, is the deeper inner knowing. That sense of, I am valuable because I exist. Punt. When this foundation is shaky, relationships can become a stage where we unconsciously seek validation. Maybe you've seen this in your own life. Dating men who needed fixing. Because for you, if you could fix him, then maybe you'd feel worthy. Or perhaps you tolerated neglect, emotional distance, or even infidelity. I did that in my first marriage, and I got out as quickly as I could because a part of you feared you weren't enough to ask for more. And that's what I was afraid of. So I planned and I got out as quickly as possible. And then there's psychologists like Carl Rogers who spoke about conditions of worth. How many of us grow up with this belief that we're only lovable if we meet certain conditions? Be quiet. Be pretty. Be agreeable. Don't be too much. And don't have too many needs. These early scripts, which is what they are, often shape the kind of partner we choose and the kind of love we accept. So let me share with you some stories of women like us who have gone through very similar experiences, not only in my practice that I'm now retired and closed, but also from my friends and from my own experiences. So I had a client by the name of Angela. She was 52, who after 2 divorces realized she had spent her whole life choosing men who needed rescuing. She told me, when I was saving them, I felt like I had a role. But deep down, I never felt chosen for me. Let that land. And then I have a girlfriend by the name of Maria. She's 47, who stayed in a marriage for 20 years, where her husband never celebrated her milestones. Not her promotions, not her birthdays, not even when she beat breast cancer. And it was so tough for her. And we were always celebrating her accomplishments and loving her and saying, girl, what are you doing? Until she finally said, I thought that's all I really deserved. I thought being invisible was better than being alone. And then there was a client, Claire, that at 61, who after working on herself in therapy, finally said yes to the man who absolutely adored her. She laughed and said, I feel strange to be this cherished. But the difference is, now I believe I deserve it. And it was so beautiful to watch that evolution in her, because these stories are not unique. They are threads in the larger tapestry of how women 40 plus navigate love, self-worth, and the courage to choose to do something differently. Because that is part of self-mastery, isn't it? Self-reflection, self-mastery, learning the skills, adapting, evolving, moving on. Now, you guys know that I love me some spiritual, practical magic in life. And this is the spiritual side. So let's dive into the spiritual connection. From a spiritual perspective, relationships are mirrors. They reflect back to us our deepest beliefs about love and worth. If you carry the belief, I'm not enough, you'll find yourself with partners who reinforce that. Emotionally unavailable, critical, dismissive, not because you're consciously wanted, but because, and this is tough when you make that realization, because your subconscious is seeking the familiar. But here's the thing. From a spiritual alchemy perspective, when you begin to honor your worth, you vibrate differently. You no longer resonate with people who dim your light. And suddenly, the men or partners who once magnetized you lose their grip. In many traditions, self-worth is tied to divine worth. Think of it this way. If you are a daughter of the divine, of God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, then how could you ever be unworthy of love, respect, or tenderness? Your very existence is sacred. So when you root your self-worth in the spiritual truth of your being, you naturally begin to choose relationships that echo that reverence. Now I know you're asking yourself, Vanessa, will you share several examples, practical application examples, which lead to shifting the pattern? Well, of course I will, darling. First, as always, get your journal. Go get it. Get your journal, get a pen. It's important. It's important for you to have this useful tool of information stored all in one little location, honey. You have a journal. It allows you to write things down. It allows you to write down every one of your experiences. Then through your work on yourself, because that's part of self-mastery, by using the tools and the tips you learn through feminine spaces, you can see in real time the evidence of your progress. Everything that you can go back to and read it. Read through your journal so you can see your progress by tracking the results of your own individual experiences. And then you know in real time, how do I tweak? How do I cultivate? How do I curate? Or I'm just in the right spot. So now, let's get practical. How do we move from knowing this conceptually to actually living it? Number one, pause before you choose. When you feel drawn to someone, ask yourself, am I choosing from a place of abundance or from a place of lack? Desire is beautiful, darling, but is it mixed with fear or of being alone? Audit your current relationships. I think as women, we tend to do this in our 40s and 50s. Who in your life mirrors your worth back to you? Who drains it? In your journal, write down their name. Then use this little handy tip that I love. Close your eyes. Take 3 or 4 deep cleansing breaths and become centered in your body. Place your right hand over your heart and using that person's name that you wrote down, ask yourself, does this ... does this person's name mirror my worth back to me? Or does this person ... that person's name, do they drain it? You'll be able to feel the truth in your body. And the more you practice that, the stronger the sensation becomes. Number 3, your daily worth practice. Stand in front of a mirror and say, I am enough. I am worthy of love that honors me. This was one of my favorite exercises in my practice. And I know it feels witchy, because it is. But then, at first, it really may feel silly or false. But over time, what you'll recognize that this exercise actually reprograms your subconscious. So you begin knowing that you are enough. You begin to believe you are worthy of love that honors you. And we all need that. Girl, it is time to raise our standards and hold them. This is the hardest part. When you raise your standards, life will test you. Old patterns may show up, old flames may return, but this time, you will stand taller and say, I love myself too much to settle. It's important to remember, giving yourself grace. Give yourself grace. It helps you in building your self-worth, because building your self-worth is just like building self-confidence. It takes time and practice, and you're learning a new skill. So be patient with yourself. And finally, number 5, choose relationships that add to your life. At 40, 50, 60 plus, love should be an addition, not a rescue mission. Look for a relationship that expands your joy, not ones that fill your wounds. Because we are too old for that. And once you can tell the difference and you can feel it in your body and in your actions, you stop that quickly. Now, everything we have discussed today is about the hidden link between self-worth and relationships that you choose. And all of that has to do with reflection. It's self-reflection that leads you and me and all of us to self-mastery. So my loves, here's the truth. Self-worth is the silent architect of your relationships. It designs who you allow in, what you tolerate, and how deeply you let yourself be loved. When you see your worth as unshakable, your relationship choices transform. You stop settling for crumbs and start receiving the banquet. Girl, we're at the dining room table. I want you to close your eyes with me for just one quick moment. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to place your hand on your heart and to whisper to yourself, I am worthy of love that nourishes me. I am enough. I am ready to choose differently. This week, let this be your mantra. Let it guide your choices, your conversations, your boundaries. And remember, you don't have to be perfect, nor does a practice have to be perfect. Growth is messy, but every step towards honoring your worth is a step towards love that feels like home. And everything I share with you guys are things that I've actually done or experienced in some way in my life, and I'm sharing it with you. So thank you, my darling, for spending this sacred time with me. If today's video stirred something in your spirit, let it be more than an inspiration. Let it be a gentle invitation back to yourself. Be sure to subscribe. Share this with every woman you know because we need it as a way of evolving into our best selves. Girl, you better leave me a comment because I love hearing from you guys. Now I close out with this. And remember, you're not too late, you're not too much, and never too far gone. Here in Feminine Spaces, we rise in beauty, truth, and grace together. Because when a woman is in her feminine essence, she is undeniable. Until next time, stay rooted, stay soft, and stay sovereign.